Hello, 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 and welcome back to another video on my YouTube channel. My name is Vincent William. Thank you for coming over and for spending some time with me today. Um, it's around Christmas time. It's currently the 26th of December 2024, and with that, I just want to say Merry Christmas. Um, I hope that you and your family, if you are close with your family, um, I hope that you had a fantastic Christmas time so far and a wonderful holiday season. And should this be the last video you watch before we get into the new year, I also want to say Happy New Year. Um, May this upcoming year be filled with many blessings and healing and restoration and all the things that we want in our life, right? So yeah, in today's video, I want to just quickly dive into something that I think is very, very, very important, and that is the subject of loving yourself. Loving yourself. There's essentially three avenues or three relationships that you have: your relationship with God, your relationship with others, and last but certainly not least, your relationship that you have with yourself. And while it is one of the absolute most important relationships there is, it is often one of the most neglected ones. Oftentimes we don't talk about having a relationship with ourselves, and yet it is um, really, really crucial to understand that you do have a relationship with yourself, and it is absolutely important, of great importance that you and I understand that, and that we get to work on that relationship because usually our relationship with ourselves needs a lot of work. Um, Usually it needs a lot of work. What a general statement. Um, but the idea is that we have a relationship with ourselves, and it is important that we take that into account as we go through life, and then that we're willing to look at that and discover more and explore more, and that we're willing to learn and grow. And in today's video, I just want to share a few things with you that I think are important as it when it comes to loving yourself. Because there's things that you can do in order to love yourself. And disclaimer, I'm not talking about an egoistic self-love that is that borders on narcissism, because that's totally not what we're about. Matter of fact, narcissism, for example, stems in many ways stems from a lack of self-love and an inability to receive love. And so healthy self-love is um, so important, and it has nothing to do with being selfish. Um, and but more on that later. We'll get more into that later. Today, uh, one of the most, yeah, just the thoughts that I wanted to share today is your diet. Oh man, what's going on? Yes, your diet. I was just thinking about this earlier today, and I thought to myself, man, our diet plays such an important role in how we feel. And so I want to encourage you today to kind of look at your diet, um, not from a place of disgust. Um, I think it's easy to look at our diet and then just condemn ourselves or shame ourselves for how we have been eating. Because oftentimes, especially if you do struggle with self-hate, which in reality is just an absence of self-love, um, it shows in our diet. It shows in and I'm gonna mention why I want to focus in on our diet today, um, b- because it our diet is just one area uh, where the presence of self-love is shown or not shown. There's many ways that we can love ourselves, and there's certainly many ways that we can hate on ourselves, on our bodies. And our diet is just one of those areas where we can show ourselves some love and affection, or uh, it can also be an avenue uh, in which we can hurt ourselves. And this also pertains to our exercise protocols, regimens, whatever you want to call it. Um, you know, our sleep hygiene and so many other things. In general, our lifestyle. I want to encourage you and me today to develop a lifestyle and to start looking at ways how we can create a lifestyle that is more loving on ourselves, more gracious. And hold on, I gotta sneeze. It's just not gonna happen right now. Anyhow, um, have you ever considered the fact that your nutrition, how you feed your body, is reflective of how you treat your body and therefore how you treat yourself? Have you ever considered that? And have you also considered that the way that you sleep, your sleep hygiene, and your exercise regimen, and all those things, working out, and all of those things, all of those things are ways you can show yourself some love. And for years, I personally felt this was one of my big OCD ditches and battles. I felt like God did not want me to work out. God didn't want me to go to the gym. I thought I used to be very much into bodybuilding. I really liked bodybuilding. I liked hitting the gym, and I did for a season there in my life for how many years was it? I think it was at least for 2 or 3 years. I went to the gym rigorously and almost religiously between 3 to 6 times a week. And oftentimes I would go more than 3 times a week, upwards of 4 times a week. And I felt good during that time. I felt good about hitting the gym. I felt like I'm growing, I'm advancing. But when I started taking very actionable steps towards God, I felt like hitting the gym is kind of vain. It's something that God wants me to give up and surrender to Him. And that's kind of what I did. And for multiple years, I was afraid to go to the gym because I thought that it might become an addiction and it is vain and it is something that I shouldn't be doing because you know, it doesn't have eternal value. And all of this reeks of OCD. I mean, there's so much OCD here that can be found. And yeah, so for multiple years, I really struggled to not only go to the gym, but to really do any form of physical exercise. And so I really started neglecting that area of my life, which spilled over into other areas of my life as well. Um, and so it took years for me to realize that, hey, taking care of your body via exercise is not vain. It is not something that you should be afraid of doing. But fear is such a loud voice, and it really took a lot for me to take a stance and say, hey, no more, nada más. I'm no longer going to listen to that fear. I am going to get myself a gym membership. That decision came with a lot of, oh, pardon. I don't know if you heard that. It came with a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, so to say. It's certainly a lot of tears. Because I was so afraid that going to the gym might lead me to become selfish and would cause me to neglect my relationship with God, and I would become more worldly, for lack of a better word, and or lack of a better term. And yeah, I was afraid of taking that step. But eventually I did, and ever since I have been doing well. I've never really looked back on you know, like I will never be in that place again, I think, where or I will be afraid to step into a gym because I think that it might cause me to become proud or selfish, etc. Um, when I said proud, I meant prideful. Um, and so um, I do think that the enemy really wants us to believe his lies. That's for sure. Um, that's somewhere in the Bible, I think. No, I know for a fact that the enemy does lie to us all the time. He's the accuser of the brethren, and he loves to steal, kill, and destroy. That's his whole mission. And he certainly doesn't want you to start loving yourself because Jesus promised to us that we could have life and life more abundant. That's a verse I've been kind of thinking about lately. Life and life more abundant. That's powerful. Who wants an abundant life? Or rather, who doesn't want an abundant life? I know for a fact, I know for certain that I do want to live an abundant life. And if you're listening to this right now, and if you know my channel, and if you've been following me around here, and following this channel, then I am convinced and certain that you also want life and life more abundant because nobody just invests time into their healing journey, into their relationship with God, and nobody confronts their brokenness and deals with it and works on it and works with themselves and through relationship battles and all of these things if they're not interested in receiving what Jesus talked about, this abundant life. And so um, there's so much to abundant life that God really wants for us. And I believe that, kind of going back to what we talked about at the beginning, I think that exercising and looking out for yourself in your diet and your nutrition can be so helpful. Looking after your sleep, which, by the way, that is an area in my life where um, I do not find it easy to always go to bed on time, what we would consider going to bed on time. When I say going to bed on time, I think of 10 p.m., 10:30 p.m., 10 o'clock. I think that is a sweet time to go to bed and waking up early. I think that's fantastic. And there have been seasons where I was an early riser, kind of waking up at 5 a.m., even before 5 a.m. And there have been times when I used to, where I would, wake up really early and go to bed earlier. But I find it very challenging to go to bed earlier than, let's say, 11 or midnight or something like that. Um, but that does not mean I'm not working on it. That does not mean I'm not looking for ways how I can improve my sleep hygiene. And I think that's kind of what it comes down to for most of us. I think that we should just develop this consciousness of like just realizing, hey, what am I doing right now? Is this serving my health? Is this benefiting my health and my body and my mind and my spirit, my soul? Or is it something that just, is actually not loving? It's maybe even a form of self-hate. Let me give you some examples. Um, you know, eating a big pizza with, uh, that nice cheese crust, stuffed crust, and just a lot of toppings, etc. It feels fantastic in the moment, right? It's super tasty. I love pizza. I love burgers. I love all of that. But I think we both know that after you ate that pizza, you will feel sluggish, you will feel lethargic, you will feel bad. And no wonder, because that pizza contains a lot of salt and wheat, probably dough and conservatives, conservants. I'm sorry, I don't even know the word for that. I know it in multiple languages, but probably not in English. Conservants or conservatives. Uh, the stuff with the artificial ingredients, etc. It contains a lot of those probably, and just a lot of grease and all of that. And so after you eat that pizza, of course you feel terrible. Some might even report feeling anxious after eating fast food like that. Yeah, next time you eat something like that, some fast food or whatever, that we may not consider healthy food or unprocessed food. Um, See how it affects your body. See how you feel afterwards. And then on the other hand, eat a healthy meal, something maybe less processed or completely unprocessed, and see how that affects you, your mood, and your well-being in both short term and long term. If you're going to develop a lifestyle of eating less processed foods, etc., it's probably going to benefit your mental and emotional health, and of course, your physical health. And I think that's just kind of something worth addressing because oftentimes, like, I see it every day. There's so much self-hate that we deal with when it comes. Self-hate has there's so many ways we can hate on ourselves, on our bodies, and our diet and our nutrition, or sleep hygiene, or exercise or lack thereof. All of those things can really indicate that a person is not really loving on themselves. And I think that just being mindful of where we are at and what we're doing and what we're feeding our bodies and what we're doing is so helpful. Nobody requires perfection. Nobody requires that we need to have it all figured out and that we need to, exercise 7 days a week and only eat healthy, unprocessed foods. And we need to sleep 9 hours every night and go to bed at 9 in the evening and wake up at 6 in the morning. And never drink any caffeine and all of that kind of stuff. Like nobody requires that, and I think that's. But the problem is that many of us, most of us, we carry this hidden perfectionism within us, and so we never start. We never take the first step into the right direction, and we struggle to just get started. And so I want to encourage you and me today to kind of start thinking in this new way. Perhaps it's an old way for you too, but you just need a reminder, as we all do, that hey, just take one step. Just take one little step. Maybe that means setting the timer, set a 2 minute timer in which, and within those 2 minutes, you're just going to get your gym clothes ready and you're going to leave the door and start make your way, start driving to the gym, and that could be a first step. Or say, hey, I'm going to work out for 30 minutes today. It's the same thing with reading books. Instead of saying, "Hey, I need to read 30 pages today," or "I need to read for 30 minutes," why not say, "Hey, just read one page." Or with our sleep hygiene, I'm sure there's ways we can start improving that too by taking little and simple steps. Let's say, for example, instead of going to bed at 2:30 at night, and or past midnight or whatever, why not say, "Hey, I'm just not going to I'm not going to use my phone for an hour before bed, or any electronic devices." There's so many examples and so many ways we can start taking steps into the right direction. And I'm really, that's not what it's about here today. Like specific examples. I just hope that you can find examples for yourself and kind of steps for yourself that you can start taking to become a better and healthier you. And not because of pressure, not because somebody tells you that you need to do that, but because you deserve it. Because who else is going to do it for you? If we're being honest. Are we being too honest here today? Who else is going to love on you if you're not going to love on yourself? Now, I'm not negating the fact that there's people around you who are actively loving on you. That's kind of what it sounded like, and that's kind of what I said, and that's not what I meant. But even if people around you are loving on you, there's a difference between them loving on you and you just kind of, yeah, whatever, and them loving on you and you actively receiving that love. Receiving love is what it's all about in so many ways. I mean, receiving love is such an untrained muscle that I think we all have. We really struggle to receive love. We feel awkward, And in many ways, that goes back to the self-hate that we carry within ourselves. We don't like ourselves. We find it very hard and challenging to live with and within ourselves. And so we start neglecting ourselves. Um, and it's a cycle. It's this endless cycle where you neglect yourself and because you don't love yourself, but then you don't love yourself because you've been neglecting yourself and so on and so forth. And so um, today, I want to encourage you to start paying attention to what you eat. Start paying attention to your sleep. And not out of pressure, not because you have to or because God is like, you need to do this, because that's totally not what it's all about. Um, Start looking out for yourself because you deserve it. And take gentle steps forward into the right direction. Maybe it's buying that gym membership again and starting 1 day a week, 2 days a week, 3 days a week. Maybe it is next time you eat something, when mealtime comes around, instead of just opting for that unhealthy junk food idea, we just go ahead and slow down for a second. Slowing down is such a huge, huge thing when it comes to all of this, because when we're always living fast, we just kind of go with the flow, like, okay, what's next? What's next? What's next? We're so busy and we're going so fast. So there was really no time to opt for the simpler, perhaps healthier version of food or whatever you're currently looking at. Um, and so slow down and realize, hey, you can realize we can realize that we don't really need to eat this. Nobody forces us. So I'm just gonna go to the grocery store and get myself maybe a less processed alternative. Simple things like that. Um, I really don't want this video to go any much longer. By the way, I mean, I guess we have kind of reached the outro part of this video. If you made it this far, truly big thank you. I really appreciate that you've been here with me today. I really love that you are spending time with me here, and I do pray that this video was a blessing to you. And the biggest thing that I wanted to say here today actually is one of the biggest reasons why I wanted to make this video, is to just tell you how grateful I am for this community, how grateful I am for you and for this community that we're currently building on this channel. Um, I will say that I do feel a very divine calling from God to build this community and to talk about these big heart issues and just talk about freedom and heart healing and our relationship with God and others and ourselves. And I don't know if there's been a day, let me say it this way. I don't think there's a day where I don't think about this community we're building on this channel. I don't think there's a day where I don't think of ways how we can improve what we're doing here, how I can improve the quality of the content and everything regarding this channel. And I know that there's so many ways to do that, to improve, to create better content, and I'm thinking about some things in the back of my mind, and I'll work on I'll start applying them little by little. But I'm excited, and I just wanted to say a heartfelt welcome if you're new to this channel, and a heartfelt thank you if you have been watching these videos and if you've been a subscriber hanging around with me. And yeah, just wanted to say that I'm so stoked for what's going to come, for what's going to happen on this channel. Because if you've been watching these videos right now with this camera quality and with, this setup, then I think that you have a lot to look forward to, because I do hope to improve the whole, um, everything regarding this video and um, yeah, just the way we share content too, because right now I'm going with the flow. Um, I do like the idea of just producing and creating organic videos in the sense that I don't really have many notes or um, this, you know, um, big outline, although I do think that that would be very helpful from time to time, having that outline and realizing where we're going and where we're taking this video. But I also love the idea of just building a relationship here, just you and me here, virtually, and and that's something I really like. And as it is in real life, we usually don't have a plan for how a conversation should go or where we want it to go, and we just kind of go with the flow. And that's how many beautiful conversations happen. And so, yeah, thank you for being a part of this community. And I really hope that we will see each other in the in future videos as well. Um, Before you leave, I do want to leave you with a little gift. Um, Please go to thevincentwilliam.com. Not being pretentious, it's just that there was no other title available for my web domain. So it's thevincentwilliam.com. Just type that in and peep my free resources that I have uploaded on there. Currently, there's a blueprint. I think it's called the Discovering God's Love Blueprint, which I have created. And I think you should just go and check it out. It's about how to overcome negative self-talk and live a more confident life, live a life that is more enjoyable because you know how to receive the love of God. So if that sounds interesting to you, go to theeventswilliam.com and just download the free blueprint. It's a free PDF that you can just read in a couple of minutes and start applying. And so, yeah, if this video was a blessing to you, if it was cool, then yeah, leave a like down below and I'll catch you in the next one. See you later.